Hey everyone, Mah-Dry-Bread here. Pokemon Fire Red with only one Phanpy was a fast solo run with an interesting gimmick Pokemon. Let's follow that up with something a little harder. Today's the day that we figure out would I be able to beat Pokemon X with a team of only one Tentacool. Alright, so you've seen me use Tentacool before, but those were in some pretty early games. Let's see how well it holds up in Gen 6. Our stats are all pretty low other than special defense and speed, so I don't expect us to have a very easy time. By level up, we learn a lot of great moves. We don't get Brian, since that's only an Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Other than that though, we have a lot of solid moves. Bubble Beam is great until we have Surf, Poison Jab could be good for when we're fighting Fairy types, and Acid Spray could probably be comboed with Surf to take out a lot of the tougher late game enemies. By TM, we also add a few better moves as well. Sludge Bomb could be a better alternative to Poison Jab, so long as my special attack ends up being higher, and Ice Beam is good to have on any challenge. I'm thinking something like Surf, Ice Beam, Acid Spray, and then either Sludge Bomb or Return, depending on what we need more at the time. Like always, I'm writing the script as I go through the challenge, so all this part is being written before I started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. I'm pretty iffy. I still don't feel like I know Gen 6 well enough to really know. I do strongly believe that we'll get to the Elite Four and beat at least some of them though. Let's explain the rules. In combat, I can only use Tentacool. I'll need other Pokemon to use HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of those Pokemon in battle. No glitches or exploits, no items in battle, only Pokeballs, held items, and items outside of combat are allowed. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's do this. So right off the bat, I use the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Froakie with Tentacool so that we can do the whole run with it. I name him Tentacool, like last time. Looks like our nature is Calm for more special defense and less attack. I actually really like that. I was gonna restart until I got Modest, but I think I'm gonna keep this. Special defense is already our best stat, so we'll probably end up with a ton of it, and I'm not planning on using our attack much anyway. Man, I forgot that we'd have Clear Body. What an awesome ability. Not having to worry about stuff like Screech or Sand Attack is pretty sweet. Can we take a moment to appreciate Game Freak's astonishing ability to poorly describe what simple things do for decades, by the way? Look at the text for Clear Body. Prevents other Pokemon from lowering its stats. Maybe this is a difference in dialect or something, but where I live, anyone would read this to mean that your opponent couldn't lower their own stats. And that's pretty obviously not what the ability does. I swear, what Game Freak says an ability does, and what you find out that it really does through Bulbapedia, are miles apart. Like, did you know that if the Pokemon at the front of your party has no guard, you'll run into more random encounters? Probably not, because the game doesn't tell you that anywhere. Alright, so we're doing the early game travel, and I feel like I learn more and more about this game every time I play it. I've learned that the Bug Gym is unpredictable when it comes to what moves they'll use, and that I really never know if I'm going to need to grind or not for it. The Sycamore fight is nearly always easy, no matter how much I worry about it, and the Rock Gym is a disaster nearly every time. I've done 6 of these runs now. This is the 7th, if I'm remembering right, at least. In 5 of those runs, the Rock Gym was a horrible nightmare and the local area was awful to grind in. Last time it wasn't too bad though, and I think this time will be even easier. They've got Rock and Ice, and Dark and Rock. They have nothing super effective against us, and we're super effective against them. So I'm just looking forward to finally getting a first try at that awful gym. It's gonna take forever to get there though. There is a ton of travel between here and there. The early game in X is pretty travel heavy. Not only that, but I don't get any better moves than Poison Sting until level 12, and even then it's just Acid. We don't actually get a water move until level 19 when we pick a Bubble Beam. Because of that, the whole fight is just a very slow grind until we get better moves. Let's hope that the actual major fights go by easily. So after grinding for an entire hour to get a real move, I made my way to the Bug Gym. We actually came pretty close to just brute forcing our way through, but we ended up fainting near the end because of infestation damage building up. This could have gone worse though. We got a bit lucky with their move choice. All I can really do is gain a few more levels and come back. We came so close to winning that time that I don't think I'll need to level much more. I grinded to level 17 and tried the Bug Gym again. This time we won pretty easily, but I really didn't play the best. I built up some toxic spikes thinking it would help me in the fight and totally forgot that the flying type Pokemon isn't going to trigger the spikes. Next is Sycamore, and I actually lost the first time because we got leech seeded on the first turn, and it did exactly enough damage that I fainted when I was one hit away from winning. On the second try, he just went for Growl instead. Well, thanks to Clear Body, his Growl didn't do anything, so we easily took out his whole team with Acid. That means that next is the Rock Gym, but on our way there, I took the Jaw Fossil. I knew that if I didn't say what I took, you'd all ask. Actually, now that I think about it, everyone ask anyway. Comes so good for the YouTube algorithm. Hey, so you remember when I said this might be a run where the Rock Gym is easy? But we lost to his Amora, who has the ability that makes all of his moves Ice type. So all of our attacks are super effective, his were not very effective, and we lost. This gym is ridiculous. So I grinded very slowly all the way to level 29, and now we have Barrier. I open by using it once, so the physical moves aren't so bad. I then spray Acid and Bubble Beam. The problem is we get paralyzed right away every time, so we can fail on any given move. We can finally get to Tyrunt, but he spams Bite. Between paralysis and flinches, we just can't attack enough to win. Even with a crit, our Bubble Beam only took out half of his health, so I think I need to hit Acid Spray and Bubble Beam to win. I'm gonna keep trying. Alright, so this took 8 tries because of the non-stop flinching and paralysis, but I really did only have to land 4 moves total before fainting if I want to win. Eventually, I didn't flinch or get paralyzed for 2 bites in a row, and we got our knockout. Well, I think the run is about to get a whole lot harder. Despite the massive level lead, we got destroyed by our rival. It doesn't help that she uses Light Screen a bunch, but that Absol that comes out second does so much damage with Slash that I don't think we would have won even if Light Screen never went up. I can't improve our moveset, so I think I have to grind. So I very slowly grinded up to level 40 against Pokemon half my level, and we time out the Light Screen a little bit better now, but it's still not easy. We were just hardly able to take out Absol, and although we crit our Acid Spray against Quilladin, we fainted to a bite. We could probably win this if we just had slightly more health. I can't believe we're this level before the 4th gym, by the way. Alright, so I got up to level 44, but now Meowstic just doesn't want to do Psychic moves anymore. Well, if she's gonna keep using super low damaging moves, then I'm gonna just build up Barrier. I ended up maxing out my attack, and although I still took decent damage over the course of the fight, we won pretty smoothly. Maybe I should hold on to Barrier longer than I was planning to. Alright, the fighting gym after that was pretty easy. I mean, how could it not be? We resist fighting and we can Barrier up if we need to. Well, that was quite the boss rush. Hey, you know how every run I talk about how the grass gym might be hard and then it ends up being easy? I'm on the fence again, like usual. We're water type, so we can't do much damage with our water moves, but I figure that Acid Spray can probably carry us through most of the fight. Before that, though, we have another rival fight, and those tend to get more difficult pretty rapidly. Then we have the Electric Gym, and a rival yet again. I'm actually pretty worried about that Electric Gym. I think it's one of those fights where we might just need to level up until we can brute force it with Surf. Who knows though, maybe I'm too worried. We do have extra special defense, so maybe that'll keep the Electric Gym from being too rough. Alright, well, our rival ended up being a total cakewalk now that we have leftovers. Between Barrier and our leftovers, there wasn't anything they could do to me. It's crazy, we have Clear Bodies so they can't lower our stats, super high special defense, Barrier to raise our physical defense, and leftovers to keep us healthy. Unless they have a type advantage or use status afflictions, there isn't really much they can do to me. Next up is the Grass Gym, and at first he was just using Acrobatics, so I started using Barrier. But after he missed Leech Seed, I realized I just lucked out and should take him out. Acid Spray did an awesome job against his whole team. So I gave the Electric Gym a few tries. On the first try, I got paralyzed by Magneton's Thunderbolt, and it was over from there. But on the second try, Emolga Volt switches into Magneton, who just sets up Electric Terrain and then spams a bunch of Hyper Potions. It goes down without us getting hit, but Heliolisk came out, and I didn't know it had Dry Skin, so I wasted my first hit. It didn't matter though, we were hardly doing any damage with Acid Spray. I need to get a bit stronger to still have the luck for Magneton not using Thunderbolt, and then I need to hope that Acid Spray from the start is enough to get us a win. So I got a few levels and learned Ring Out. This thing is 120 power when our health is full, so I thought it'd be a great move to take out Heliolisk. Well, it did more damage than anything else we were gonna do, but we still fainted in 2 Thunderbolts. The problem is that Ring Out gets weaker as our health goes down, so we can only really get away with using it on that first turn. I figure I only need a few more levels before I can win this though. all the way at level 60, and I still had to try over and over. Now Magneton sometimes switches out to Heliolisk early, so I ended up surfing and missed my chance to get an extra hit. It ended up working out fine on one of the tries though, just because we've gotten so tanky with all the level ups. Do you think our regular strategy is still going to work on the next rival fight, or will her being fully evolved ruin it for us? Hey, the rival is still really easy. See, the thing is that Meowstic seems to have Gen 1 Blaine level AI, because it could so easily just spam Psychic and win, but it uses Disarming Voice to do 2 or 3 damage almost every turn, so we could easily build up a huge barrier and tank our way through the entire fight with no issues. I never noticed before, but our rival's team is pretty physically attack heavy. Alright, so I'm actually really worried about the upcoming fight. No, not the Fairy Gym, that's usually pretty easy. No, not even really the rival fight, even though those can get randomly difficult in this game. No, it's the Psychic Gym. I don't think I've ever had any serious issues with it in this game before, but this time we're Poison type. Not only that, but I'm pretty sure she's got a Slowking if I remember right, so I can't just surf my whole way through. I don't really have a great answer for that fight. Then there's the Lysandre fights after, and I've come to the conclusion that I am terrible at figuring out ahead of time if Lysandre is going to be a problem or not, so I guess we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Well, the Fairy Gym was super easy, but it ended up going on for ages because of my own terrible decisions. When I got to Sylveon at the end, I tried Ring Out. Not only did that do almost nothing, but Cute Charm infatuated us, so we were pretty much useless. She was hardly doing any damage to us, but we hardly attacked. Eventually, I was able to hit Acid Spray enough times to get the win. Well, the same strategy as before just worked on the rival. We're still only hanging on because of Meowstic's terrible AI, but thanks to her adding Vaporeon to the team, and Chestnut landing a decent hit, this isn't nearly as easy. A critical slash from Absol bypassed our barrier, and we nearly fainted thanks to that, but we managed to win. Same strategy is working, but maybe not as well. Alright, so I had to try the Psychic Gym a few times, because the start of it is really random on if Sigilyph opens with Light Screen or Reflect. When he uses Reflect, I can two-shot it with Surf. If he uses Light Screen, we probably lose. The problem is the Slowking right after. It's just so tanky, and she's got Hyper Potions. Not only that, but it puts us to sleep and then keeps using Psychic. Doesn't matter if we have high special defense, it just does way too much damage for us to handle at this level. So after tons of tries at level 70, where I almost never made it near the end because of Light Screen, I bumped up to level 75 and now she's using Reflect all the time. I don't get why the AI behaves how it behaves in Gen 6. It's mostly good, but occasionally it's just really confusing. Well, when it does use a Reflect, Sigilyph is easy. It also helps us against Slowking, who usually uses Yawn twice in a row, but sometimes it's smart enough to use Yawn and then go straight into Psychic, which is a big difference. At level 70, I rarely got past that thanks to the Light Screen, but now it's not so bad. If we sleep more than 2 turns, we'd probably lose, but we woke up pretty fast and the Acid Sprays built up power quickly. Last is Meowstic, who I rarely ever got to, and who beat us at level 70 each time that we did get to her, but now we have more health. It was still pretty close, but we were able to spam Acid Spray and eventually get the win. Okay, it's time for the boss rush with 3 Lysandre fights. This is usually pretty hard, but not always. There have been a few runs where we actually had a really easy time with the Lysandre fights, but for the most part it's difficult, since you fight him 3 times all within a short period of time. He gets noticeably stronger each time, and you only fight maybe 10 or 15 trainers between each Lysandre fight, so you only gain a few levels. I'm just holding out hope that Surf and Acid Spray can carry us through. I figure that the Acid Spray is for sure our answer for the Mega Water Onix at the end. So the Lysandre fight was actually pretty easy, at least the first one. His Mindfu starts the fight and can't really hurt us, so it lets me use 3 barriers and then wipe him out. His Water Onix is the only thing that I can't one-shot, and thanks to our barrier, his Earthquakes didn't do much damage. I'm really surprised by just how much I'm getting out of this barrier. I was originally planning to replace it once I got the Ice Beam TM, but now I'm thinking I'll replace Ring Out instead. On the next Lysandre fight, things went just about the same, although I lost 3 times thanks to Mienshao critting us with High Jump Kick. On this try though, it missed, so that's karma coming back around. As soon as we didn't get crit, we won pretty easily. I'm a bit worried about the last Lysandre fight though. I could see Mega Water Onix being a problem. So the final Lysandre fight took a few tries, despite basically being the exact same fight. The thing is that some of their moves have a high crit chance, so one crit and we end up with too low of health to win at the end. The first time where I never got crit though, I pretty easily won the same way that I won the other Lysandre fights, so that really wasn't that bad. Alright, we're getting close to the end of the run. We have Sycamore, our friends on the bridge, the ice gym, and our rival. Sycamore is always easy. Our friends on the bridge are sometimes hard because we can't heal between two of them. But after that is the ice gym, where we have never had any real problems. That'll get me the TM for Ice Beam, and I figure that it might save us by the Elite Four. Oh, and I'm sure the final rival fight is gonna be a mess. It always is. But I'm sure we can at least win that fight below level 100. The Elite Four? I'm not totally sure. Alright, first is Sycamore, but his team was pretty easy. Venusaur hit hard with Petal Blizzard, but as soon as he went down, the rest of his team couldn't really do anything to us. I just built up Blizzard and then shot them down. Next is our friends. First is Shauna, and she's the easiest one for sure. We just built up Barrier early so that nothing could hit us that hard, then used Acid Spray and Surf to take out her team. Tierno was harder and took a few tries. We have to build up barriers against Talonflame, then just hope that no one crits us. I know that doesn't sound too hard, but when we give them as many chances to hit us as we do, it's dangerous. Roserade hit hard, and we had very little health by the time Crawdaunt came in, but we still got the win. Last is Trevor, and I thought I'd lose because he opens up by paralyzing us. Then when we take his Raichu out, he has a grass Pokemon next, but it actually ended up being fine. The paralysis wasn't too bad, and he wasn't hitting us with very strong moves. And of course, the Ice Gym was super easy. We resist ice. There's really nothing they could do to us. Alright, I didn't expect this, but we have a serious problem. This random double battle in Victory Road that I normally just breeze through is an absolute brick wall. I always get two-shot, so I had to level up over and over and over until level 96, when I can finally survive 2 hits. But Gallade always survives longer and takes us out. As far as I can tell, I have to fight these two. I think it's literally just gonna have to be, I get to level 100 and try this over and over, until we get lucky and get saved by a crit or something. This might take a while. Alright, so it turns out it took exactly 1 try at level 100, because we could finally take out Gallade a turn earlier. Still, that was insane. That makes me think that any random psychic type can brick wall us at this point. Wow, last rival fight was actually really easy. Her Meowstic finally uses Psychic every turn, so we couldn't get every barrier in, but we still got enough that Seed Bomb wasn't an issue. Easy first try. Now that we're at the Elite Four, let's take a look at our stats. Well, our special defense is amazing. You know that our regular defense is going to be okay after some barriers, so I'm feeling pretty tanky, but I still think that I might not win. One Pokemon that we really don't have an answer for, like Starmie, and it could be the end of the run. I think we might make it to the end if we're lucky, but I still don't really think we're gonna win. Make your final guesses on if we can win this or not. Let's do this. First is Fire Trainer Malva. Yeah, of course she was easy. I used Barrier, but I didn't need to. I could have just swept from the start. Second is Dragon Trainer Drasna. Now this fight was a bit longer, but it still was a pretty easy first try. I got Ice Beam specifically for this fight, and Barrier did a great job of keeping us healthy. I think I need to try the Water Trainer next though, and I think that one will be pretty brutal. I don't know how we're gonna beat the Starmie at the end. Third is Water Trainer Cybold. Right away, I started with all 3 barriers as Cloyster kept chipping away at us with Dragon Pulse. We took it out after spamming a ton of acid sprays and got him to use some healing items, but we're around half health. Water Onix is next, and he kept using Dragon Dance, so although we took him out, he did get one really good Earthquake in on us that did a ton of damage. Starmie is third, and I was petrified of this one. I started with Acid Spray, and he put up a light screen, so I just kept using Acid Spray on him. He hit Psychic to bring us to a sliver as we took him out and healed back up a bit. Last is Barbarnacle, and I thought that I was doomed since Light Screen was still up, but we landed a hit and he missed a Stone Edge. Then, because of leftovers healing us, we just hardly survived his second Stone Edge. Then the light screen wore off, so we knocked him out. Not only did we just luck our way through what probably should have been a loss, we did it on the first try. That was crazy. Fourth is Steel Trainer Wickstrom. Now, I left the Steel one for last because I wasn't really sure how it was gonna go, but I guess their team is just very physical, because Barrier completely shut them down. I guess they had some high crit moves, and it could have bypassed our defenses with that, but they'd still have to get really lucky to actually take me down. I can't believe the entire Elite Four was a first try. Finally, the Pokemon champion Diantha. Right away, Hawlucha was using Swords Dance as we built a barrier, so we got our barrier full easily. Flying Press hardly hurt us, and we got the one-shot with Ice Beam. Second is Auris, or Auris. I feel like I'm guessing how to say it every time. And everyone always gives me different answers on how to pronounce everything, because the anime is never correct on it either. Anyway, it was a one-shot with Surf, and next to Tyrantrum, who's not quite a one-shot, but the recoil from his head smash finished himself off. Gourgeist was next, and it could hardly hurt us, so I tried to make it faint a bit slower to get it to use full restores. It worked pretty well, and then I took it out with nearly full health. Goodra also used a full restore, and got some good hits in before I took it out, but we still have most of our health left. Last is Mega Gardevoir though, and we can't lower her special defense since she traces our clear body. Surf does solid damage, but she obviously does a lot more with Psychic. We can take her to red health, but we still faint. Okay, if this doesn't require too much luck to get to the end of the fight in good shape, then maybe I can win this. Maybe it's within a damage range, or I'll luck out in crit. Alright, so I had to try this a bunch of times. There wasn't really a lot of luck going on in terms of getting to Gardevoir, although sometimes Aurora survived and used Light Screen. That could be mildly annoying. Most tries of the Gardevoir fight went the exact same as usual, but after about half an hour of attempts, I got this one where we crit our second Surf to get a very narrow victory. That was great! There were a lot of slow parts early on, and some of the grinding was rough, but it felt good getting into the Elite Four at such a high level, and having some narrow victories on both Cybolt and Diantha. I really hope that you guys like that run. The next Pokemon Challenge should be up next week on Saturday, like usual, with Pokemon Emerald, with only Steel types. As always, I'm looking at your suggestions in the comments, in the challenge request section of my Discord channel, and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. Outro time, I have so much to do. If you've been listening to the outros, you know that there is a new Haven and Hearth World dropping soon, and I'm going back to making tutorial videos on it, which I haven't done in like 8 years or something. So I've been working so hard on scripts for that, on voiceovers for that, on recording for that, studying for that. I have this big Google Doc with me and my village where we've been writing all kinds of stuff to try and teach everything that we can. I'm just working so hard on that. And today, when I'm doing the voiceover, is the 15th of November. So I have, like only 3 or 4 weeks. I think 3 weeks until the next world drops. It drops in early December. So I've got to have a whole bunch of these done before that, so I'm going to be rushing to get this edit done and then get all that other stuff done because I have way too much to do. I want to get back to streaming more of those Pokemon ROM hacks soon because those were super, super fun, and I wanted to stream them like right after that big streamathon I did, but obviously I've been very busy with the Haven thing and with the Pokemon things and everything else going on in my life. So I will be getting back to those hopefully soon-ish. Probably not this month, maybe a little bit this month, I don't know. But all the VODs for that will probably go up on the stream channel, which I have as my second channel, the Mah-Dry-Bread streams channel. I'll probably have the recordings of the streams up over there, although if it's a series that already started uploading on this channel, like a lot of those Pokemon ones, then they'll probably just keep going up on here. Because it doesn't make sense if I started them over here and then I'd start putting the later episodes on the other one. That just wouldn't make sense. And there's no reason to take them down off here and then re-upload them on the other channel. Tons of people have already seen them and commented on them here and everything, so I may as well keep them here. But new future playthroughs of streams at least, including future Pokemon streams of different playthroughs of Pokemon games, those will be up on the other channel. Just the Let's Plays will stay on this channel, which is just, you know, me playing games usually with my friends, edited and everything that are not on stream. You know what I mean. You know what Let's Plays are. Man, I hope there aren't people so young watching that they don't even know the term Let's Play anymore. That would hurt my soul. Anyway, thank you so much for the $50 shout-out supporter tier people of Jacob Busby, Javid Khusro, Grayson Fitz, Tara Louise, and Lysandre Hedgeblog, which I did end up getting a comment. I don't remember if it was a comment or a tweet or like something that was saying when they came up with that name, I think they were big into Sonic at the time or something. I don't remember exactly. I just thought it was funny that I stumbled across their comment explaining that literally like 10 minutes after I did the voiceover the other week, where I first read that name and mentioned that it sounds like they keep some kind of Sonic blog or something, and that the name is amazing. I love that name. Anyway, I have so much to do. I need to go teach people how to dry hides and make leathers in Haven and Hearth. Do you have any idea how daunting it is to have to explain to people who probably have not played the game before that once you set up a hide to dry, it takes 14 and a half real-life hours before you can come back to it and it'll be dry? And then you need to go put it in a tanning tub that you've set up, and it'll take another 30 real-life hours before you have your first batch of leather? It sounds insane, but it's a really good game, and it's free on Steam. And some of you from last week's video, I'm recording this at 2:20, so last week's video hasn't gone up for the general public, but a few hundred people have already seen it through early access, through YouTube memberships, or through Patreon, and I did have one of those people already do the whole password thing from the end of the last episode's outro thingy and join the village, which was very cool. But in about 2 hours, real life, my time, is when the general public is going to be seeing that video and getting to the outro. So I might have a big influx of new people joining the village later on the day that I'm doing this voiceover. Who knows? I don't know. Could be a fun time, though. I have so much to do, though, so I should go get on that. And I have not eaten. Are you even surprised? Thank you, everybody, so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.